Hi, welcome to the Forecasting for Success podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brie. I'm a doctor of psychology, financial educator, astrologer, and founder of Forecasting for Success, a community of people improving their financial literacy to achieve financial independence. I blend my expertise as a former professor and financial intelligence analyst with the tool of astrology to help break down why you are struggling with specific money habits and the best way to form more intentional responses and choices when it comes to money, especially to help you feel more secure in your financial decisions and improve your money skills for building long-term wealth. Hello, welcome back to the Forecasting for Success podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm speaking with energetic strategist and psychic medium Tara Fisher, who has a unique personal story and expertise that combines her skill sets in helping clients use divine feminine energy to connect with their personal truth and path in life. I encourage you to share this episode with your close family and friends who can also benefit from what Tara shares with you today. Okay, let's get started. So, hello, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you. So today we have with us Tara Fisher, and she is a lovely business owner also here in Germany with me, which is exciting to find out. I always love finding other entrepreneurs and professionals here in the space. And so what I'd like to do today is just go ahead and have you introduce yourself to the audience, maybe share some of your story. That way they can understand who you are and your expertise that you also have in your business.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this space. I'm an energetic strategist and psychic medium for entrepreneurs. I mainly work with women, also more established business owners. And my specialty really lies in helping them to find back to their feminine essence, which obviously makes sense. I mean, the reason that I work with women is because I'm so passionate about really guiding them back to their truth. So what I do is helping them reconnect with their feminine essence so that they can actually move away from feeling bored and disconnected and just exhausted, trying to win a game that they're no longer wanting to play, and instead build their own version of success. And for a lot of people, that looks like, scaling to 20K months or just building deeply rooted abundance. But for a lot of women, it also looks just to serve, to have an impact, to, have an outlet of yourself that you can use to express yourself, but that you can also use to create a difference in this world. And that is really what we put together, and where we look at it from this lens of, okay, how can we build this version of success without sacrificing our freedom, without sacrificing who we actually are, without sacrificing the way we want to lead and move through life. Because so often we fall into this kind of trap of what we talked about before we hit record. We post all the time, we're hustling all the time. We lose ourselves within that process. We chase these external kind of milestones that we base our worth upon, our happiness upon, and then we end up just feeling depleted. And that's not the kind of vision that I hold for all these beautiful women out there. So my mission is really to change that and help them to create a life that kind of feels like poetry, that feels like really lit up and like beautiful to them, which holds space for those milestones, but also space for them to just be present in the everyday.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so excited that this is the type of work that you do. And I'm so happy to share it with audiences today, is because there's so many layers to this, especially with women as business owners, because we're often taught over time to make ourselves smaller, to somehow hide the parts of ourselves that are very authentic or quirky or somehow unique and make us stand out as individuals and as women business owners. And so it's really very important, deeply meaningful work that you're doing just to try to make sure that women are able to reconnect with their own voices, their own emotions, and make what they have to offer more authentic and connecting with other people. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It is something that I'm very passionate about and that adds purpose to my life as well.
Absolutely. Was there a time to where this flowed naturally for you? It was an organic experience of you discovering that this is how you would like to help others? Or was there a moment where you were like, hey, this is something that I can really offer and help other people with it?
Yes, I think that something that kind of led me through my entire life was just this desire to make the most out of it. So when I was younger, I had a lot of resistance towards, and I still do at times, to kind of like go down this pre-designed path of society. And I think it has a lot to do just with my human design and with my astrology and just the way I'm built energetically. So I've always had this kind of resistance and this deep desire to pave my own path and to just do whatever lights my soul up. So I could never really, even when I was like 12, 13 years old, I couldn't see myself doing stuff that would drain me in the end. There always had to be this element of purpose, this element of, I actually want to do this. And so I, from a very young age, started making decisions in accordance to that desire, just naturally. And I designed my kind of adolescence this way. So I started traveling at like at age 18, basically right out of school, and I studied sports science, also from this place of, this is just what I'm enjoying right now. This is what I'm passionate about. So I'm just gonna do this because it, like, I naturally learn about it all the time because I do my own research because it's something I'm passionate about. So I do study, chose to study it. And then from that, traveling combined with like just being into health and fitness and all that, just naturally also led me down this like path of personal development. I do believe I've always had that within me. I always had this curiosity around how can I become the best version of myself. There's always been a goal with it. Also because I knew that if I could overcome the hurdles that happen within me that come from my own mind, from my own belief system, although I didn't at the time know much about that, I knew that if I strive to become the best version of myself, I would eventually live my best life, which is all I ever wanted. When I was 16 or something, I did get into personal development and health and fitness and all that. And so I started reading those self-help books and those mindset books and everything. And then during my studies, I obviously also had a lot of just lectures on psychology and like mindset, more from the angle of like professional sports, but still, right? And so at the time, it's very multi-layered because I also grew up in an entrepreneurial family. So my dad is a very successful business owner and my mum worked for my dad her entire life. And so my aunt and a lot of my cousins are also self-employed. So I did grow up in that world also. And I've always kind of knew that to live this walk my own path, I kind of have to, or this is kind of fits naturally to it, like self-employment, because then I'm my own boss and I can basically decide and do whatever I want. So I always held this vision. I always had that kind of within me. But I obviously, like most people, have had a lot of different iterations of what that could look like. When I was 16, I worked as a freelance surf instructor for quite a long time. And then I also did freelance web design and freelance social media management and like a lot of different things. I created I wrote a cookbook and like just a lot of different things that would bring me like side income. And then I was, during my studies, living in Portugal, which I also shared with you earlier. And that was really a moment where it just kind of like I realized that, wow, I literally am living the vision that I held my whole childhood.
Aww.
And this was like such a full circle moment for me where I was just like so happy and had become this best version of myself that I'd always dreamed of becoming. And from that moment, there was, yes, this like singular moment that I had where I was like, I need to share this. I need the world to know that this is possible and that there is tools and strategies and things that you can do to get there. And that's when I kind of started sharing about this whole journey about personal development, everything online on Instagram. But it wasn't until maybe probably like a year later that I started my business. And I started my business mainly from kind of like necessity. I finished university in the beginning of 2022, so just when the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And that kind of led me to like a really dark moment because I felt forced to give up the lifestyle that I lived before where I was traveling, and like
Mhm.
basically following those nudges because the world was shutting down and
Mhm.
I was feeling very forced into these pre-designed structures of society because I had
Mhm.
also finished university and then, people would be like, what you've got planned next? And that
Mhm.
was then when I basically decided, okay, this is the moment where I have to try.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I'm so happy for you. It's an incredible experience when you're able to go like that, someplace for yourself and have these authentic moments of saying, this is it. Like, this is what I wanted.
Hmm.
This is what I'm here to accomplish. So I'm so happy that you were able to discover that. And I also love the life motto that you throw in there of I do what I want. I definitely agree and also subscribe to that motto. So I really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, no, it's just something that I've later on realized that it couldn't be any other way because I'm a generator and my life design as a generator is to uh, do whatever lights me up. And then if I don't do what lights me up, I get very frustrated. And so
Mhm.
it is the way I'm designed to live. So it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting that you mentioned some of these science-based methods that you also have, that you also grew up with and are a part of you. I've often found that in other astrologers, and human design is new to me. It's something that I recently heard about, so I honestly don't know that much about it. But more or less for astrologers or people who are using human design, I find that we definitely enjoy this blend of having these moments of using science-backed and efficacious methods that were very data driven, were people who like pattern recognition. And I find that it's something that I also enjoy blending together because I find it's more helpful. It's more helpful for my clients as well to try to speak to a broader spectrum of the human experience and to not isolate it down to just one or two tools or one or two methods. And I was just curious if that's something that you also use for the type of work that you do, if it's something that you also like to blend together.
Yeah, so the way I work is very like intuitive. So um, when I work with a client, I don't have like a set toolbox or like set strategies that I'm applying every time. It's very like intuitive depending on the topic that they bring to the table. I'll kind of see how to best approach that. And the what's I think important for me is like I always blend the spiritual and the strategic, maybe not in one single session, but in the whole. And when I do like more of the like spiritual sessions, what I do as a psychic medium is like I channel a lot. So I'll just receive messages from spirit that I then reflect to my clients. And the strategic sessions, they're very much so like what we know, like the strategic planning behind things. But I do every once in a while, depending on, what the client brings to the table or where I see fit for it, I will kind of recommend certain tools. I also have like more practical tools, like obviously meditation or rapid resolution therapy, which is kind of a way to shift the subconscious mind, or even visualization. I use like practical tools like that to really help my clients work through energetic blocks or even Reiki. And I find though tools like astrology or human design, they're very great just to create the self-awareness and get an
Mhm.
understanding of who's that person I'm working with, right? And for my clients also get a better understanding of, okay, who am I even, right? And like I said before, a big part of my work is helping them find strategies and find ways of leading in business and leading in life that are aligned to who they are. And so the more we know about who they are, the more we can find those strategies, right? So it's more like a thing that naturally flows into the work that I do rather than a tool that I apply in every single session.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for explaining that because you're right. It definitely makes a big difference and a big impact to the client to help them with whatever it is that they're currently struggling with.
Yeah, for sure.
Whenever you're working with clients, do themes ever come up for you? Are there ever themes that involve things like you were saying, people feeling blocked or people struggling with manifesting abundance or other types of security for themselves? Do you see that sometimes with clients?
Yeah, so I think in general, for a lot of business owners, the money piece is always part of the conversation, whether that's like pricing or just the scarcity feelings around money or the desire to make money, right? Like, I mean, most uh, women that come to me and like most people that are in business, they do that for the money also. I mean, they do have great intentions at heart and they might lead with them. We're all doing this to make money in some shape or form, so
Hmm.
money is always part of the conversation, and thus a lot of things that come up around money, both the strategic things of like how do we actually handle our finances, but
Hmm.
also the energetic side of how do we feel towards money. And then also just the masculine and feminine energy dynamics, those
Hmm.
patterns, they show up a lot as well, where most of my clients, they either are still very much so in their masculine energy and operating from it, but feel this deep soul calling to move towards leading with their feminine energy,
Hmm.
or they've already tapped into leading with their feminine energy, but they want to expand that and they notice that, okay, they've only scratched the surface with that and they really want to maximize, again, their feminine essence to be able to grow their business basically and, enhance their experience of life.
Absolutely. And I think what you just said is so critical. That is so important, especially for women-owned businesses, is because it's very challenging and rare, in my opinion, just to find spaces and businesses or female business owners to where they're able to demonstrate leading with feminine energy, because it's not something that we've had in our world for a very long time, unfortunately, just due to societal structures and systems that are set up. It's actively discouraged most of the time. So again, that goes back to what we were saying about how people and women in particular might not understand that connection or what that looks like. What does that even look like to lead with feminine energy whenever it comes to running their business, helping clients, helping clients find their voices, etc. And you're right that since we do live in a society that's based on this tool of money and having to use money and having a lot of things based on that type of security, it's very challenging to understand, am I living and working in a way that aligns with my values to, and I also have business values that can speak for authenticity and a place of assistance and help and offering to put something positive out into the world. And so I'm so thrilled to meet people like you and also highlight the work that people like you are doing, because to me, it's very critical. I definitely would like to emphasize that and help more of that get out into the world because I think we would all be better for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's something important in um, every human being, really, whether they're identify as men or women or whatever. It's important to live within our purpose, within that what lights us up, within our natural energy, because that's when we then can give the most and when we can show up again as our best selves, and have the best impact on the world for sure.
Absolutely. And I agree with you what you just said. It's not about gender. It's about this spectrum of the energy that all of us have within ourselves, the spectrum of feminine and masculine energy. So it's for anyone, absolutely anyone to tap into and to try to be more authentic about where they would like to fall within that spectrum at any given time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are there any tips or anything that you often recommend to clients whenever it comes to this type of abundance that they're trying to draw or financial freedom or independence that they would like to manifest more for themselves? Is that a type of energy or recommendation that you've worked with before?
Yeah, so I think that it really comes down to again, where is the individual's energy at the moment when it comes to money? Oftentimes, because money is such an important, like you said, tool or energy within our world, we have a lot of relationships and a lot of feelings towards it, every single one of them, regardless of the financial history that we had or that our family had. And so I think that when we get into business, this just gets amplified because now we have to actually look at, okay, what's our relationship with money? What do we believe and how do we feel towards money? Because now we want to attract it into our lives. And so I feel like there is like a lot of different ways in which this can turn out. Some people, they make money right off the bat because they don't have actually any like energetic blocks towards receiving, but then they will spend it just as quickly. And so they'll never, like, they're still stuck in this kind of like not getting out of the scarcity because they're constantly trying to like kind of make ends meet because they're like, and this is like an energetic thing, but also strategic thing. But then there's also people who struggle with just receiving money. And then once they've worked through that, it's actually like they realize that now like a lot of what they've been expecting or like the feelings that I've had, they are resolved because they had to work through this initial block and now they've got the abundance and now they can also like hold it. So there's like, it really depends.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It's so interesting how a lot of what might be blocking us, it could be unconscious. Maybe there are some things that have happened to us and we're aware of and we're very conscious about where a fear or an uncertainty may lie whenever it comes to money. But a lot of other times it's something that we're not even aware that we have a belief about, or we have an action or some type of activity that we're doing that is not, it's not very conducive. It's not conducive for getting us to where we want to go. So it's so important for professionals like yourself to try to help others to recognize either consciously or unconsciously what actions they might be taking that are not in their, I was going to say not in their best interest, but that's not really what I mean. It's not as efficient or as effective for them.
Yeah.
So it's great that you highlight how to help them be more open, just how to have more openness and growth in these areas.
For sure. I think what you said around not being conscious, I think is very important because what I see often also is that regardless of someone, if someone had previously, struggles receiving money, one like so many people once they get to the place of actually making money, whether that is in their, corporate career or in business, is that they won't ever feel abundant. They won't ever feel
Mm.
like it's enough. And so they constantly are in this cycle of needing to produce more. And that is where I see that oftentimes we are abundant like on paper because we maybe make a lot of money per month, or we have a lot of savings, but we don't actually feel abundant. We don't actually feel safe and secure around money. And that is often when, catches up with people because the people who have trouble receiving money and thus not making money, they are the first ones going to be like, hey, I need to work on my money mindset, or I need to figure out this financial strategy because they have trouble receiving money and so they don't make money and so they have a problem. But the people who naturally make money easily because they don't have a problem receiving it, they only realize that there is work to be done once they kind of get into this hamster wheel and they realize after, 10, 20, whatever, how many years, they realize, well, actually, what am I working for, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether I make 10K or 20K or $1 million. I don't feel safe around money. I
Hmm.
don't feel abundant. It's never enough. And that is where I see a lot of women burn out as well, where they then realize, okay, I've gotten so far away from the actual freedom and alignment and joy that I wanted when I started this business. I gotta return to this because whatever I've been doing in the meantime is not it, right? And so that's kind of where then again we could go full circle and we start working on this deeply rooted abundance that comes from, okay, creating this safety and this security around money, and not from like a standpoint of what's coming in, but rather from a standpoint of how you feel towards money, and how you feel in situations that are related with money, right? And so how can we make sure that you feel safe, secure, and taken care of, even though you made maybe way less this month than you made last month? How can we make sure that you actually feel like the 10K that you made this month are enough, right? And that, yes, you can pay for your living, but also you don't work your ass off to kind of support your living, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important. This is amazing that you're able to do this work because you're right. If someone has this realization themselves, it's important. It's very important to understand I need to do something different. Something else has to happen now. But a lot of people might not know, what do I do? Like, what's the next step? Where do I go? And so this is incredible that you do this type of work and that you can help other people in order to get them over this hump, this obstacle that they've recognized within themselves. The type of work that you do, is it usually one-on-one with clients, or do you have courses or other types of tools that you offer to help people if they have questions that they can come to you with?
Yeah, at the moment I only offer one-to-one support, but I have different offers in all price ranges. So I have single strategy sessions or intuitive readings that you can purchase one by one. They're very affordable, and are really there if you just kind of want to have a taste, or you've got like a singular thing that you want to work through. I have guidance on. They're perfect for this. I have a lot of past clients that use them also because they have done a lot of work already. We've set a really solid foundation, but every once in a while they kind of want to have some extra guidance, especially with the core of the work that I do, which is being those intuitive psychic readings. It's really, people come to me and use those to get guidance for the next steps. And that's why I have those one-off sessions always in my portfolio, because it's so good to just be like, okay, I have this question, I have to make this decision, or I don't know how to move forward, like let's tap into this. But then also I do have a long-term mentorship that is also one-to-one, that really focuses on creating this bigger transformation of what I mentioned before, right? How can we get you out of the place of boredom and disconnection and exhaustion, and get you back connected and on this path of creating success that feels truly soul-led.
That's lovely. And I actually meant to ask you if you could please tell us more, if you don't mind, about your mediumship, just so that people understand what type of expertise that you have. Because some of the other mediums that I've worked with, there's a particular way that they're able to work with their mediumship, and there's only certain types of questions that they answer for clients. Is it specific questions that you do best with a specific type of area of their lives, or is it pretty open for you?
It is pretty open for me, so I always tune into my clients or the person's highest timeline, and connect with their spirit guides and their higher selves, to receive any messages or guidance that they are needing to hear in the moment. And it can be regarding everything, really, whether that is relationship or business or whatever. I personally, from like a personal level, I just enjoy business conversations and everything that has to do with becoming your best self the most. But if a client asks me or brings like a relationship topic to the table in a session, then we also tap into that, because I do believe everything is interconnected. And so the way I receive messages is really so that your higher self, your spirit guides, they will just transmit the message that you need to be hearing in the moment. And sometimes, or a lot of times, the messages that I'm channeling are multi-layered as well. So there might be a message that applies to multiple areas of your life. And although you've asked a very specific question of, for example, what shall I do make more money, the message might actually also refer to your love life or to something else in your life where you realize then later on, like, hey, actually, this fits there also.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's an incredible skill and gift, and it's such an amazing quality that you have that this extra layer that you can help and assist your clients with as well. So that's lovely.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any other areas that really stand out to you whenever you help your clients, regardless of whether it's related to finance or not? Is there something that you find is really important in this moment whenever you speak to clients that you feel like is important to highlight at this time or at this moment whenever it comes to people trying to move forward in their respective lives?
I think that self-trust is a big thing that a lot of people need to work on, myself included. I think we've been trained so much to just listen to other people's advice and to constantly look externally for the validation and for the advice and for the you're on the right path, basically. When we have all the answers already within us. And I love this so much about the work that I do and just about being a medium as well, is that is like I'm not telling you anything that you didn't know before. It's just that I, in this moment, work as a bridge between what you can't hear, see, or feel at this moment, and what is already available there for you. And so I think that if we can learn to trust ourselves more, if we can learn to tap into our own intuitive skills, which we all have, right? And yes, there is people who are maybe a little bit more gifted, who have an easier time, with their clear senses, but we can all develop them, and we all are intuitive beings. So we all always receive messages, and every one of us can communicate with their higher selves and their guardian angels and spirits and whatever. So if we learn to trust ourselves more and trust that the information that we already download, then we ourselves can already walk a more aligned path, right? And a lot of the struggles and the doubts and the insecurities that we have, they resolve themselves because we've got this confidence that whatever we do is right, because again, we've got this inner wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important. You're right. It speaks to the theme of what you were saying earlier. Just how do we genuinely tap in with our inner voices, our inner guidance and authenticity, so that way we can not only live that way on our day-to-day lives of just our private, internal lives, and also with our businesses, respective of what those are. And you're right that we need help, myself included. Like we all need help in this area. So thank you so much for doing the work that you're doing. It's very much needed.
Thank you. It's an honor to do this work.
That's fantastic. Where can people find you so that they can work with you?
The best way to find me is on Instagram. My handle is at tara.fisher. I'm sure you're going to put it somewhere
Yes.
in the show notes. And then if you want to learn about my offers or just browse them, you can either send me a message on Instagram or you can go to my website, which is tarafisher.org. And there's everything there for you to browse and inform yourself.
That's fantastic. And you also have a podcast as well. Would
I
you
also
mind, yeah, just going ahead and telling us about that so people can listen in?
Yes, my podcast is called Be Magnetic Podcast, and it is designed for entrepreneurial women who, like I said, want to move away from the traditional hustle culture and the masculine ways of leading in life and business and move towards really building their own vision of success that feels aligned with their feminine essence. And we cover topics around building wealth and manifestation, spirituality, but also business energetics, business strategy, and feminine leadership and all the stuff. So go make sure you can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast.
That's fantastic. I really hope people go listen in and go to your website, because you're right. We need more examples of what that looks like, what it means to lead with feminine energy as people and within our respective businesses. So thank you so much for being here today. It has been a lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me and sharing this space with me.
I want to thank you so much for joining me this week on Forecasting for Success, and let you know that you can read the transcript for each podcast episode on my website, which is linked below in the show notes. I've also included the link to send me your money questions if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast at forecastingforsuccess.com/podcast. And if you're ready to get started on improving your financial literacy and developing your own personalized money plan, I encourage you to join my Forecasting for Success community, where I teach you everything you need to know about budgeting, how to choose your retirement number, how to invest in the stock market, and so much more. I go live in the community each month to check in on your progress and help answer any questions you may have. And it's a supportive community where you can also check in with other members and learn from their experiences as well. I hope you take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next week.